Let's get back into it. Looks like our ad is working. But yeah, I think there is a weird issue going on with the profile. So I'll take a look at that later. We'll finish off the CRUD action for the platform. So yeah, it looks like ad is working so far. So the next part is to do our update as well as our delete. Each of those would be good. And then we can move on to the next level, which is games. And that will be a little bit more robust than what we have here. So let's see. I'm going to do in the show page of each of the show page. And then we'll do some similar logic with the form inside of here. And then we are also going to pass in the update and then the delete inside of this here as well. So let's do that here. That would be inside of the platform show page. And that would be, yeah. And then we also need to update the form because we need to go ahead and have that work like normal. Because right now it only does the individual create. We also need to have it work for, if we are updating, it'll update. If it's not, then it'll create. So we'll write all that logic here. So let's go ahead and bring in some stuff. So I'm going to have the button from React Bootstrap, just for styling sake. And I am also going to have the consumer because the function of where I'm going to write it is inside of the provider. Oh, actually, I should do that first, huh? Let's actually do that first. We'll come back to the show real quick for the update. So then this will be called update platform. This one will need the ID of the platform, as well as the platform object itself. And then let's take a look at what Axial's call it is. My guess is put because that's the HTTP verb for it. So it will be this update. And we usually do put because it's 3 letters compared to patch, which is 5. So it will be this one here. So it'll be /API/platform and then ID. So then it will be /API with the backticks because we need to interpolate the ID /platforms / the ID coming in. So then I need to go ahead and pass in the platform object as well. This one, I don't think we can do in one line. It will be super long if we do. We'll do it in multiple lines. It'll be res. And then if you do it in one line, you don't need the curly brace. But if you do it multiple lines, you do need the curly brace, by the way. So let me do the console here too, so that doesn't change. So here we'll go ahead and create a variable and call it new updated platforms to be more specific. And what that is that it will be platforms, spelled correctly, dot mapping through each one of those, referencing them as P. And what we are doing there, oh, I forgot that arrow, is that we are doing a if else. So if p.id is equal and both value and type of the ID, then we are going to return res.data, which is the new updated object from our backend. And then if not, we'll just go ahead and return P. And then afterwards, we'll do a set platforms to go ahead and set this and update it inside of the front end. So then this here would go in here. So let's go ahead and do the update here like so. And then we'll go ahead and get that up and running. So let's copy this, bring this over here. And then that is the function we'll be calling. Sorry about that, I didn't format that. There we go. And then now let's go back into the show. And we need to import that function from our consumer. So this would be our platform consumer. And this is from 2 folders out providers slash platform provider. And then we need to do that one consumer trick below. So that way we can grab the data we need. So here it'll be cons connected platform show as in the props. There'll be parentheses. And it would be the platform consumer. And then inside of here, grabbing the value. And this will grab every value. You can be more specific if you want, but I'm just going to spread them all out. And then this one will be platform show. And spread out the props. And then also spread out the value. And then here, let's update this to be connected platform show, because that's what has all of the data. And then what I mean by if you were to do it one at a time, instead of saying spreading out all the values, you could do like update. You can do like the update function or the delete function. You just grab specific ones if you want to. So now let's go back here, and then we are going to go ahead and pass in the update platform function. And I also need my form as well. So import form, the platform form. And then what we are going to do is that same logic that we did, but now it's for the update. So this will be editing, set edit, equal to use state. And then I'll do, by default, will be false. And I'll do right after everything here. I'll have a few buttons. Is there a yellow button I can use? Let me go ahead and check that out real quick. Yeah, there is a warning variant. So yeah, let's use that. Because yellow is like a good color to edit. This one we'll call it edit. We'll do one more. What's the red one? Danger for the destroy later. And then what we are going to do is we'll do some conditional rendering. So if we are editing, then we'll show the form, platform form, and pass in all of the data. We'll get into that in a sec. So platform form, Else, we'll go ahead and display this button right here. And then what I'm going to do is to go ahead and have this be on click. And that will be an anonymous function of set edit to be true. And then I'll do that same thing here of the cancel button. And this will say cancel. This would change it back to false. And also we'll put BR here for some separation. So here, this is where we'll be passing in some stuff. And all of the stuff that we need is actually coming from platform. So I can just spread out platform in this case. Because again, platform is coming from this object here from state. And I can just pass that in of what we're storing inside of there. The other thing that I need to do is to pass in that update function, which is this right here, and then pass that in inside of here. You could technically do it by hand one by one for each attribute if you want to. So that will be ID equals platform.id, name equals platform.name, etc. So that is how that would look like. Let me see if this is working, and then if it is, I'll slack it out. So we'll do edit. Yeah, that looks good, but let me double check if the information is passed through here. Let me see here. I think it will look a little bit better if I put this inside of the other logic too. So I'll do that as well. So let me check the form real quick. So yeah, it looks like all of the information is there that I needed. Sweet. So yeah, let's bring this part here of the H1 and the H5. We'll put that inside of here. We'll also put this in a fragment, and I'll fix this so it looks better. So that looks good. Also, we'll bring this delete button over here too. So then, yeah, if it shows the form, it'll show just the form. And then if we're not, then it will show the details. So yeah, let me see that one more time. So we'll do cancel, edit. Yeah, I like that. So here is the platform show. And then we need to tweak the one inside of our form so it will work for update. So let's go ahead and go into the form. And we are passing in more props in this case, passing in the ID, the name, the version, the bot, as well as the update function. So update platform. And that's the main ones that we need. So what we are going to do is that we'll utilize the use effect here. And we'll set this up. And we're gonna run some logic. So if we are passing in the ID, that means that we are editing. So what we are going to do is that we'll go ahead and pre-populate the form of their name, version, and bot. Inside of a object. And that will pre-populate the form. Hopefully it does that here, and it does. I think the date is a little bit different because of the different formats and everything like that. So I guess that's fine. So that's fine that that doesn't show up like normal, because it's a totally complicated thing that we would need to solve, but everything else should be good. So now we are going to change this handle submit. And we are going to do the same logic. So if the ID is being passed in, and then we'll do else here. Else we'll do this up here. And then what we are going to do is do the update platform. And pass in the information that we would need, which would be the platform save from state. And that should be it. So let me see if this works. So let me change something that I have multiple of. Oh, I do have multiple of, let's say a Genesis. So I'm going to change this to Game Boy. And this is the first version. I don't know, 1999 maybe. And if we submit, it doesn't take us anywhere or close out the form. So if I reload this, does that take effect? Wait, did I do 2 or 1? I forgot. Yeah, so that looks like that didn't update. So I'm wondering if we are missing something. So that updates the token. That's not the update we're looking for. It says no record found with the ID. Yeah, it looks like I'm forgetting the ID here. It's a good thing we tested this out before we send this out here. So let's try that again. We'll do Game Boy first. And let's see if that did anything. So that looks like that updated. Wonder if that displays now. It looked like it did not. So yeah, it looks like we need to go back to this page here. So to do that, that's just a quick change. So let me go ahead and slack this form out. So that form is working. But afterwards, we need to navigate back to a page that does show the change. And we'll do that inside of the consumer, actually. So then we are going to go inside of the provider. And then we have this here of the use navigate. So what we could do, we didn't use that yet. So let's go ahead and use that up here. It'll be a variable that we'll call navigate equal to use navigate function. And then how we are going to use this is, I'll just copy this, is that wherever it is that we want to take them, like for example, after I update it in the backend, let's go ahead and navigate them into /platforms. And it should be links that you don't require any information, because if it's platforms and you need to pass in the ID, then if that's the case, then you would need to interpolate it like so. And then it'll be slash the ID here. So let me see if this works now. Doesn't like something. I wonder if it's this here. Yeah, also log me out. Syntax error. Yeah, it doesn't like the curly brace. Does it like this? Okay, looks like that works. And then we'll do our Bob2 again because that has all of the data. I think we're doing update, right? So yeah, let's see what else I have duplicate of. I have 2 Nintendo DSIs. Is there a Switch? Yeah, I'll change this to a Nintendo Switch. Um, yeah, I'll just submit it. And that should take us back into the form. But I think it's doing something weird. So I think a better place is to take them back to the platforms because we were technically inside of that page already. So it might be a little bit confused to take us back to the same place. So let's try that again. But now when we go, it will be platforms. Let's do, yeah, it looks like that did update. Nintendo Switch. I think this one is the Animal Crossing one, I guess. So yeah, it looks like that's a better thing. But yeah, it looks like when we did it the other way, it just stayed on the same page because it was already at that URL. So this is a better URL for us to navigate to, is another page. So here is your platform provider. And then we have one more CRUD action left. Well, actually, let's write out that logic and then I'll slack this out of the delete platform. So it'll be const, and then it would be delete platform. We just need the ID. And it would be a Axios that my guess is a delete. But we'll double check. So yeah, it looks like it is a delete /API/platform ID. And then it was /API/platform / interpolate value of ID. And then we are going to do our promise handling of res. I'm not doing anything with the response, but we'll go ahead and have that here. You could like alert the message, I guess. Yeah, we can do that if we want. So we'll do set platform. And then this will be platform dot filter. Call each one of those P. And then P.id that is not equal to the ID it is that we are deleting. And then let's also alert. We'll do alert of the res dot data dot message. And then let's also take them to the same place too. So we'll do this part. And then we'll do our catch. And the delete platform is going to go ahead and be here. And that should round out our platform provider. So here is this file. And then let's go ahead and bring that into our show, and then we'll get the delete up and running too. So here inside of the platform show, it'll be this button here, but let's go ahead and bring in that delete function. So delete platform. And then we are, let's see, do some line separation there. Going to do it inside of this button right here. This one is getting long, so I'm going to boost it into a new line so it's more readable. Like so. And then we are going to do a on click. Oh, I always do that. And then we are going to do a delete platform passing in the ID. So let's see if that works. And if it does, I'll select this out. ID is undefined, so it doesn't know what ID is. So let's go ahead and pass in the ID here. And there's something wrong with the platform provider. Oh, I need to close some of this. So let me go back to the platform provider. I think is, yeah, this one here is plural. So let me go ahead and re-slack out the provider because I had a little typo. So go ahead and use this one for your provider. So then let's go back to the show. Yeah, this oftentimes would kick you out because you're doing stuff to the auth here and there, but that's no biggie. So let's delete the Sega Genesis because I already have one. And let me see why that's hanging. So looks like there is a routing error. And I wonder if it deleted. So yeah, it looks like there's a routing error. So what that means is that I probably messed up inside of the Axios call. So yeah, this one is plural as well. So yeah, that will do it. So yeah, disregard the last few providers since those aren't working as well. Here is the most updated one. So let me try that again. Platform deleted. And then, yeah, looks like that deleted. Let's delete this entertainment one as well. Awesome, sweet. So it looks like our delete is working. So that is all of our CRUD actions for our individual platform model. So now we have all of our stuff for the platform done. Now we can move on into our next level, which is the games. So we'll do that part next. But this is going to be a good part to go ahead and I'm going to stop both my servers because we'll be doing stuff within the terminal. And then let's push this up to GitHub as well. So we git commit -m platform form CRUD done. And then what we are going to do next is we already did this part. We'll do the next level, which is games, and then do almost the exact same thing, but now with games. But I'll switch it up a bit, so we won't have it be too similar, but it'll be slightly different. So how I am picturing this inside of the front end is that if you click on here, it will go ahead and display all of the games for that platform. Oh, sorry. It's the reason why it's not showing anything is because I stopped my server. But this is where it will show it. Is that it will show all of the individual games that the platform has. So for example, if this is the PC, it will show all of the games I have for that PC, like League of Legends, Overwatch, Minecraft, I don't know. So that will just show up here. So that's the functionality that we are going to be doing. I am going to clean up some stuff so we can have some wiggle room. And then we'll go ahead and get started before break. And then we'll see how far we can get with the CRUD actions for the games here. And I don't think games is a reserved word, so we can actually use that. Console was a reserved word. That's why we had to switch it to platforms. So that should be all good to go here. Let me refresh my memory of what we have for games. So games has a title, has a rating, like rated M or E, rated, not rated image. So we'll give it image as well. And then it belongs to a platform. So let's go ahead and create that model and then define those associations and validations within there as well. So it'll be bundle exec, and make sure you're doing this in the root directory, bundle exec rails, not db, g model, and the model is called game because this models are singular, controllers are plural, and then what that game has as attributes. So it has a title, it has a rating, it also has image as well, which is also a string, and then what it belongs to. So this is the parent, which is in this case platform colon belongs to. So that will go ahead and establish the foreign key there. So let me go ahead and run this, double check the migration file to see if that works. And then I'll select that out if it does work. So db migrate platform, nice. Yeah, so those should be good. So yeah, go ahead and run that. Then let's go ahead and migrate that as well. So bundle exec rails db migrate. And that's good. And then now let's go ahead and create our associations and validations in our models. So that way our models knows what is going on. So game already belongs to platform, that's fine. But we need to say what's the other relationship on the other side. So this one is has many, has many games, and then dependent destroy. Dependent destroy. So this part here will delete all of the games if we also delete the platform. So here's the platform model. And then inside of the games, that is fine. We'll add in some validations. So let's do validates the title, the rating, as well as the image, all to be all to be, let's see, presence of true. And then you can also do like another validation of uniqueness of title if you want to as well. But I'll just keep it as is. So here is the game model. And then what we are going to do now, yeah, we might do the seats next. Go ahead, Danny.
Just a heads up, you had many, I believe, in the platform model.
Oh,
So we don't
there
get
we
like any like errors.
so yeah, let me update that as well. Nice catch. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do a seed. So what we are going to do is that we are going to delete the platform. So it'll be platform dot delete all. And that'll delete all the platforms. So we can start with a fresh new platforms here with this here. And what I am going to do is that I am going to set this to a variable, call it platform. And then here below, I am going to create the game dot create. And then that one, oh, that's weird. That one needs the title. It needs the rating. It needs the image. So yeah, I might default it to a default image because I don't think Faker has like game images. And then here it will be platform underscore ID equal to that variable that we created up here. So that will be platform.id. So yeah, let's go ahead and check Faker out for what it has. Oh, I closed it. So it'll be Faker gem. And I think it's like all the way over here. Oh. So yeah. Oh, genre would have been good too. Nice. Never mind. Yeah, we'll just keep it as is. So yeah, go ahead. We'll do the game title here. So we'll do game title for the title. The rating. I don't know the game ratings. I'll look it up real quick. I think that one we had to create ourselves. And we'll create that with that there. So let's see, we'll do rating array. So it looks like there is an early childhood version, so EC, and then rated everyone, and then everyone 10 up. Rated T for teen, rated M for mature, and then there's like a rated pending, and adults only. So, and then what we are going to do is call this variable and sample from it. And the image, it will just be a basic image for now. From here, probably not our robot. We'll go ahead and take a look at game, see what comes up. I'm gonna be more specific. I'm gonna do video game. because it came up with like dice and stuff. So maybe that might be a good one or a placeholder image. Also, these are consoles. Yeah, I might just go to that one above. Oh, this play one might work. Yeah, we can do this play one. So I'll click this, play, copy image address, and then that will be our images for all of our games. And then we'll update it later. Sweet. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and do a platform count. That works. So let me run this first to make sure there's no errors. And then we'll slack it out. What this will do is I will delete all of the platforms and then regenerate it. And then it will go ahead and connect those platforms with games. So let's do this real quick. And there's 5. Okay, and then let me go ahead and check something out. So if I do platform.all, that should show me all the platforms. And yep, that looks good. PlayStation Portable, nice. And then if I do platform.first.game, then it would give me a bunch of games. Well, it only gave me one. It only gave me one.
It's a good one though.
Yeah. So it gave me one game. I think, oh, you know why? Because I only created one game for every 5 times. So I guess that makes sense. So we can, to create more, I'll have at least 5 more games. So I'll do 5.times do end, and then I'll rerun the seeds file. And hopefully that will give us better, thing for us to work with. Still in reference from table. I don't know. The only thing I did was to put this here. Update or delete table platform violates the foreign key constraints on the table games. So I think I also need to delete all of the games, but it should do dependent destroy. I don't know why it's not doing that. So let's go ahead and do this part then, because it's being weird. Did spell dependent destroy correct, right? Oh wait, that'll be in platform. Dependent destroy, yeah. So let's do this then. Yeah, it violates the foreign key. Yeah, I don't know what changed. I guess one game is fine. We can add in more games. Well, actually, we'll check it out during the break. So yeah, we'll hold off on that. We'll take a quick break while I look into this a little bit more. We'll come back at 8:15. Go ahead, Daniel.
So I'm just
Okay, let's get back into it. I think I found out the issue. because we are doing a dependent destroy, not a dependent delete all, that's why it was hanging up on the foreign key constraint. So a way to get around that is I just switched these around. So I deleted all the games first and then all of the platforms after. So that's what we are doing instead. And now that should work. It should generate 5 platforms. And for each of those platforms, it should generate 5 games for us. And it does in my case. So after you have this, it should also do it for yours as well. So go ahead and put this in your seeds file. And then you are going to run this command here. And that will go ahead and populate your database. So that will help us out later on when we hit into the front end. The second thing that we need to do for the back end is going to be our controllers. So then we are going to do bundle exec rails g controller. And again, we need to do the API slash because of the way that we are doing our backend. And this would be the controller name. So in this case, it's games plural because models are singular, controllers are plural. And then we'll also do a skip routes because we'll be creating our own routes. And then that should be good here. So let's go ahead and start off with our routes. So that would be config routes. And then here, because of the association, this is where we do need to do our embedded routes here. So this would be resources and then games. We didn't need to do it for the user because of the way that we are handling the user with the buys and stuff. But for all other cases, we would need to do this within the API routes here. So let's go ahead and slack this out for you all. And hopefully we can get the, yeah, I think we can get the controllers down for this. And then we can get started, get started on the provider for this on the front end. So now inside of your controllers API games controller, let's go ahead and do a little bit of before actions. So the first one is to specify the parent. So that will be set platform. And I'm doing that for all of them. So I don't need like a only or anything. But this one of set game, that one I do need to specify. So that one is only the show, the update, and the destroy. And then again, this follows the pattern of your child pattern for the controller. So that's why we have this line of code to help us out with the set platform. And then this defines who the parent is. So at platform equals to capital B platform dot find params, and then it's the parent's ID. So it'll be platform ID. And then we'll do the set game here. So the def set game. And then this will be at game equals to at platform dot games dot find params ID. And then now we can work inside of our other actions here for our controller. So we have our index. And that one will be, let's see, that will be render JSON at platform.games. And then it will be show. That one is render JSON at game. And then we have our create. So that one is at game equals at platform.games dot new what the game params. So let's define that as well. So def game params, and then params dot require game dot permit the title, the rating, and then the image. And then we'll do our if at game dot saves else end. We are rendering JSON game. Else it is the render JSON errors, and it'll be at game dot errors, and it has status of unprocessable entity. And I'll double check that spelling. Yep, that looks good. Now we have our update and destroy left. So this would be if at game.updates with the game params. And then we'll just do this part again down here. Then we'll do our destroy. This will be at game.destroy. And then what we are going to be doing afterwards is render JSON a message that says game deleted. And that is our controller. So here is the controller. And now we can move on to the front end to get those front end ones up and running. So let me close all of this and this. Let's go into our client. Let's make a new folder inside of our components. We'll have a new folder called games. That has to do with everything with the games. So that will be a new folder that we'll have. And for the provider, let's go ahead and create a new provider, call it game provider. And we'll get started. We'll see how far we can get with this. So let's import React and also use state from React. Let's also import Axios from Axios. And let's also import use navigate. From React Router DOM. Don't know why I have red squiggly there. Oh yeah, I forgot comma. There we go. So now I am going to define my other stuff here. So the cons and naming convention, it would be called game context. So it'll be react dot create context, and then export cons game consumer. And then this one would be game context dot consumer. And then we have our auth, or not our auth, our game provider. Grab the children props. and return and fix this typo. Return. And then I'll export default before I forget. So export default game provider. And then it will be game context dot provider. And then this will be our children here. And then this is our value. So that part should be very similar to your platform provider. So those stuff should match up. The only thing different is going to be the Axios calls. That would be different of what we're doing here is because of the association, we also had to include the parent stuff. So let's see. Let's go ahead and store all of our games and we'll call it set games. And then that's what we'll pass in here with our values. And then let's go ahead and create a function here. Call this get all games. And this needs to pass in a little bit more information. I need to pass in who the parent ID is. So this will be platform ID because I do need that as well. Well, that's all I need for this for now. It's just a platform ID. Like so. The reason being is that if we start our server up, we'll do that right now actually. We'll do yarn start and then bundle exec rails s-p3001. If we are, because of the association, we need to pass in the parent everywhere within the URL. So that's why within the Axios call, I need to pass in that in order for this to work. Or else it doesn't know which game it is that I'm referring to. So here, if we see here, so for all of them, it needs a platform ID. And that's a really important step that we'll have. So yeah, so let's pass that in here. And then we'll do an Axios call. And then we're doing the index here. So it's a get, and then it's API/platform, and then platform ID, and then games. So I need to have, oh, forgot to do the dot get. It'll be the backticks. It'll be /API/platforms/ the platform ID. So let's interpolate the platform ID. And then /games. And that will grab and make the right Axios call. And then we are going to go ahead and set that to our state by doing a set games equal to res.data. And then for us to use this, let's go ahead and put that here in our provider. And that should be good for the index. So let me select this game provider out. And then here is its content. And we need to get this working so we can actually see some stuff. So let's see. I want to show in my platform show, and then it'll just display a bunch of lists and other items inside of there. So what I am going to do, and this can't be another page. The reason being is for the index, I need to pass in the parent somehow. So if you do want it to be another page, you have to pass in the parent somehow for that to work. For this, I'll just have it be in the show page, and that should help us out a bit for that. So this one, I'll call it capital G Games. And then inside of the platform show, I'll go ahead and display that here of games, and then pass in the ID of the platform so it knows what the ID is. So then it will be platform ID. That would be the ID here. So here's the platform show, and it shouldn't work yet. Oh, never mind. I forgot to do an import. So import games from /games/games. So yeah, here is a better one here. So here's the platform show. And then let's go into the games, start to write this part out. And this one will be very similar to the platforms of what we're trying to do of grabbing the individual get all platforms and all that. So we'll go ahead and do that here as well. So it'll be import use effect from React. And then I also need to import my consumer. So it'll be game consumer, because if you want to have access to anything in the provider, you have to do it through the consumer. And that is from 2 folders out inside of the providers folder. And then it will be the games provider. And then I'll do cons here of games. I'll figure that out in a sec. And I'll just say another the pair of fragments, and I'll say all games here. And then, yeah, let's not export default yet. So it'll be cons connected games props. It'll be the game consumer. And you're starting, once you get to this step, you'll start to see a pattern. And then we're continuing that pattern for every step of the way that we are going for each model. So then here I am going to have the value. And then this is the games. And then this would spread out the props. And then spread out the value. And then export default the connected games. So then I would have access to a function called get all games. And then I am going to call that function in my use effect. So the use effect. And then we are going to do a get all games. And I will get all of the games and probably list them out. So I'll create another component, call it game list. Come back to that in a sec. Then we'll do an import game list from ./game list. And then render this out with the set of games. So let's bring in games here. So this will be game list. I need to pass in the games as well as the platform ID, because I might need that later on. Yeah, I might need that later on. So platform ID. We'll see if I need it or not. I'd rather pass it in anyway. So I do have it somewhere. So it'll be games equals games. And let's also pass in the platform ID here too. If we don't need it, I can always remove it later. But I think we might need it. So that'll be it for the games for now. We'll come back to that once we need to do our create. And then we'll do our game list here. Will be const game list. Pass in the games. And then for now, I'll just go ahead and map through it and display each of the game titles. And that will show if it does work or not. And then I'll kind of design it to however it is that it will look like. And then we'll do export default game list. So let's go ahead and do a games.map. And then, yeah, I'll just have like a p tag of the game's title for now. And we'll see if I also need the platform ID for later. So yeah, let's see if that works. Oh, here I am. I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Go to platforms. Nice, we got PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 3. Let's do PlayStation 3. And then it is coming blank. I wonder why. Let me refresh. Yeah, I wonder why it is coming as a blank. Let's open this up for our console to see if there's any errors in there. It looks like there are some errors. So, you have an error in the game list component. It says undefined reading of map. Doesn't know what map is. That's how you go through a array. I swear I spelled map correct, because that's how we did it here. So yeah. I'm just going to do this. Or give me one sec. Or I'll do this. Yeah, it doesn't like map for some reason. Cannot read properties of undefined map. So I'm also thinking if there are any games for this platform. So that might be why as well, because if it's null, then there might be no games in here. So then that's why we can't map at all. So we'll do some conditional logic. So if games is, we'll do dot length is less than 0, or if games is equal to null, then I'll have it have like a h2 of no games. And if there are, then we'll map through them. So there might not even be games in this case too. So let me go ahead and go all the way backwards and forwards. Platform, let's go here. Platform 18. I wonder if it's also, we should do undefined. Yeah, I think it would be undefined instead of null. Yeah, it's still giving us a weird error. Oh, wait. I should do this first. The reason being is that if it's not an array, then it doesn't know what that is. So yeah, we're getting something back. I'll do triple equals to be sure. Oh, that's weird. Oh, you know what it is? I think when we call games here, we didn't pass in the parent's ID. So that's why. So let's go back here, pass in the parent's ID. So here is the games again. And then this one I did pass in the parent's ID. So now there should be some games in the database. Actually going to restart this server again to apply those changes. And I'll fix this to what it was before. Yeah, it's still doing that issue again. We'll debug it a little bit more. Let's see if games are working at this level. So let me see. So here we do have the parent, and each of them will have their own ID. And if we go to components, right now we shouldn't have anything for, did we do that part yet? I don't know if we did that part. Yeah, so maybe that's why it's not reaching the consumer because I didn't do this step. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this step. Oh, that's silly. And that's why this isn't working is because I'm trying to call something from my provider, but I didn't connect it. So So that's why I'm not getting any feedback back from anything having to do with the anything having to do with the game provider, and it's not even inside of this component tree either, which is a little bit weird. So that is why we also need this part right here of having the game provider from /provider/game provider. And then we need to wrap that here. And this has to go under platform because of the association. And then that has wrapping app, and then that should be good. So yeah, it looks like we missed a step, and that's why it can't find or do anything with the games. So here is the index.js. And then let me see if that works now with the show. And then we'll fix the show so it looks a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah, everything there should be all good. There we go. And then does this have any games yet? So platform has games, but then the game provider is still empty. So I'm wondering what's going on. So then, looks like we have error couldn't find platform with the ID of undefined. So that means I'm not passing in the ID correctly. So let me see. So that would be in my games. I'm passing in get all games here with the platform ID. And let's check here of the platform ID in this case as well. So let me see if that is also being passed through correctly here too. So for some reason, it doesn't know what the platform ID is. So I'm going to put a debugger here. And this will stop the code right when it hits this. And we'll see what platform ID is in this level. So let's go back. And that hits our debugger. And then I'm going to clear this out. And then inside of our console, I'm going to do platform ID. So it looks like it's undefined here. So looks like at this level, it's not being passed through. So let's check inside of the games, platform ID, and that's coming in from props. So then let's go inside of the here and see what the platform ID is. So we'll put the debugger here and see if that is defined. And I'm just refreshing the page. That will hit our debugger. And then let's see what platform ID is at this level. So at this level is also defined. So let's see what's going on. So for some reason, I'm not getting the parent somehow. We'll go into the components. And then this is the show here. So let's take a look at the platform show first, because that's where we're showing this. And I am passing in the ID here. And then let's go into games. And then there is the platform ID. So I'm wondering if there is a spelling mistake inside of games or platform show. So this will be platform ID, then games here. That will also be up here, platform ID. I'm wondering if it's also doing something weird with the race condition. So what I mean by that is that it's trying to grab this information And then it's also trying and grab stuff from the game's information at the same time. And you can kind of think about that in our restaurant scenario. So you are asking for like a soup, and then they're prepping your food for the soup. And then all of a sudden you're prepping for another salad. And then you start eating that salad, even though that is not done with your first appetizer of the soup yet. So I think that might be what is going on here. There might be a race condition here. So something else that we can do is that we can actually grab the URL again for this parent actually. So we might do that instead of the props here, because it looks like it's not passing it in fast enough and grabbing that information, because it is grabbing it eventually, all right? We eventually will have this information, but the way that we are rendering it, it might take a sec for that to work. So let's try to grab the information another way. So we can just use our other trick of our use params. And then just grab it from the URL, because technically we are in the same URL. And this one is from React Router DOM. And then what I am going to do is do a variable called params equal to use params. And then let's see what I called inside of my app.js. Yeah, it looks like I also call it platform ID. So here in my games, instead of platform ID here, it'll be params.platform ID. So then instead of grabbing it through props because it's not passing it in quick enough, I'm doing it through the URL. And that's what I am doing here instead. So I can actually delete that there and then also do the same thing here too. So now that should give us the right games. Oh, I did see something real quick. What's going on? Yep, that looks good. So yeah, you might encounter that sometimes, and that might be a tough bug to fix. But how I knew that it was a race condition is that I saw how in the dev tools it was pulling it up eventually, but when I'm trying to use it here, I still don't have access to it. So it's still waiting for that data to return. So there's a few ways that we can do things. This is just one of the ways, just because we can just grab the URL at this level. So let's go ahead and do this part real quick. And then I'm going to tweak a bit the game list so it looks a little bit better. Because right now I'm just showing the titles. Oh man, this goes back really long. I haven't played Little Big Planet in a while. Let's put each of those in its card. So yeah, we'll have some cards. And then we'll display the individual image, the game information, and some buttons for us to go and stuff. So yeah, we'll probably have this card here. If we have multiple cards, like a card group, how would that look? So yeah, it looks like it's side by side. And I kind of don't want that. I want it to be more spread out like this. Okay, this might be better. So I'll probably do this way than the other way. Yeah. So it looks like I need the row and then the card and all of that jazz. So I'm going to, let's see, bring in this first. And then we might update it into its own component when we do the show. Yeah. So then let's see, let's import the, I think it needs to be in a container, row and column. And then we have card and button. All from React Bootstrap. And then how this would work is I'll have a container here and then the row here. And I think it says below. Where was it? It was like all the way here with the card group of how many I want on each row. So I'm going to copy this. So for each row, I want to have like 4 cards. So then I'm going to move my map up here. And what we are going to do is we'll put the card here for now. But again, I'll go ahead and we'll move this later to its own component. So it'll be in each column. I think that's what we do. And then the card. So where's that card that we have? Yeah, this card right here. And then we'll fix it to be our case. So this one, it would be g.image for the image. And this one will be the title. So g.title. Do we have like a rating? Yeah, that's what it is. So rating is going to be g.rating. And then we'll have this button go somewhere later on. But we'll just have that for now, just to see how that looks. Nice. That's huge. I think I'm going to boost it down. Instead of 4, I'll have it be 3. So it doesn't look too cluttered. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then can I also have the, let me see. We'll change the height as well, just a bit so it's manageable, to be 12 REM for now. Just see how that looks like. Oh, that looks super small. Anyway, I'll just leave it as the regular height for now. I think it's the image that needs to change, not the card itself. Yeah, that looks good for now. Sweet. Oh, that would be awesome. So yeah, that looks good. And then that button won't go anywhere. So what we are going to do later on is that we'll finish off the CRUD actions. So this is technically both the show as well as the index. So let me go ahead and slack this out. So we still need to do the create as well as the update and the destroy for the game. And then we'll move on to the last one of the notes. And that would be good there. But yeah, we're just chugging along by. And we'll come back to this more next week. Sweet. But yeah, that is all that we have for now. We'll go ahead and push this up into GitHub in the meantime. And then I will see you all for tomorrow. Thank you.